This is how Colin lives, you see. This is his bit, is in the front until he comes to bed, and then he's allowed to sleep in here.
Then he takes over. But he takes over that bit after. Sorry,
It's hard life.
That's my music room. That's my
It's your music room. Sadly, it's not soundproof.
On a rainy day in the middle of May, we had the pleasure to meet up with Michelle, her husband Colin, and their 12-year-old daughter Florence, who have been living in their van for quite a while now together with their 6-year-old cat Patch. We talk about how they broke down in the north of Scotland only 1 week into their travels, how they financed their current lifestyle, and what they miss the most about their lives before moving into the van full-time.
Squeaky door. Well, I'm Michelle.
I'm Florence.
And we're from Shropshire. At the moment, we're working on a campsite in Berkshire by the River Thames to earn some money to go to New Zealand. It's a Vauxhall Vivaro. It used to be a cleaning services van, I think, and a friend found it for us. And then he put the windows in. It was just a really scruffy van. He put the windows in and lined it and everything for us. And then when we started off, we had a bed settee ratchet strapped to the back seats. And we had a porta potty in one corner and a dog crate because we had a dog at the time. And we went travelling for 6 weeks, didn't we?
Yeah.
And it was really, really hard. So then we had the rest done. So we've got the bed put in and the kitchen and Florence's bed. And it's easier now. We've got gas under here.
Yeah.
The gas bottles are. We access it from the outside. So there's a cupboard this big where we've got just bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Toilet chemicals and things. And then we've just got washing up bowls with all the food, sort of current food like the peanut butter, and the plates and stuff there. And then water is underneath, behind the vegetable bag.
In bottles.
So it just sort of evolves really. We don't have, I think you can see, we don't have a sink, we don't have a fridge. We just fill the bottles up here on the campsite. Obviously it's quite easy, but when we're around and about, there's taps everywhere. That comes out. And then lift that bit up and this flops over. We weren't going to live in a van at that point, that's the thing. It was going to be holidays, weeks away, not a full-time living, otherwise we'd have bought a bigger one. It was $1,600 to buy, it was about $3,000 to have the windows and have it lined and various mechanical things. He did quite a lot of work on the engine and stuff for us. So that was $4,500, and we'd saved that over the years. I think we have them in an ISA or something. I think it was when we first worked on a campsite in 2010. We just piled everything in to savings, and it was just sat there. So we used savings for that, and then so we haven't borrowed money to do it. It's just we'd saved it up. It's very well insulated, but we don't have any heating. So in the winter, it's a matter of hot water bottles, lots of blankets, lots of merino base layers and a hat, and go to bed when it's dark because it just gets so cold. And so we just sleep longer. And in the summer, it does, we keep the curtains shut to keep the sun out because it does get quite warm.
I think the summers are more of a problem than the winters.
So, yes.
The heat is more because it's so well insulated. In the winter, I don't think we really struggle.
No.
In the winter time.
Just wrap up warm.
We wear lots of clothes.
But we're used to the cold, really, aren't we?
We are now.
We've become acclimatised, I think.
We spend a lot of time in Scotland. We spent several winters in Scotland when it's been snowy. Well, somebody said, you're really hardcore because we went to Scotland in the winter.
But it's amazing because winter's the best time to go. One, people think it rains every day. No, it doesn't. And two, the views are stunning and there's nobody else around. You can do the North Coast 500 and there's no around it.
If you're in Scotland and it's raining, go to the other coast because often it'll be raining in the west and dry in the east, or the other way around, and it's about 60 miles from coast to coast. So we would do that quite frequently. Last March, we were working on a campsite. We were running a campsite completely on our own, and we did that for nearly 2 years. And we got burnt out really. It was too much. We'd saved money, and we just thought, once the next granddaughter is born, and she was born on the 2nd of March, we're off. So by the 5th of March, it was in the snow, and we just went. And then the next
granddaughter was born, and we had to come all the way back down again.
We did, didn't we? Flipping granddaughters. So it was. We'd had enough of of the full-time work, the running 2 vehicles, the paying council tax.
You get your money and then you give out your money.
Yeah.
So there was nothing in between for us. So
No, but even though we were on a campsite, we were running this campsite, we had a static, so it was like being in a house really, and there were a lot more expenses than there are living in a van. Living in a van, it's you just buy your food and your diesel really, and the gas when it runs out, which isn't very often.
And the number of friends we've made have said exactly the same thing. You're going out to working for the man, you're getting your money, and then once you've got your money, it all goes out on insurance, tax, cars, houses, rent, food, you name it, utility bills. It's like, oh, what was the point?
It's living for the now.
It's living for the now.
We don't
And
look
that's one thing we've learned, is living for the now. And I think if it wasn't for New Zealand, we wouldn't be here. I don't know, I wouldn't have a clue where we'd be. We could be in Ireland, we could be in Portugal. I wouldn't have a clue. But we'll be doing things for the now.
When we set off this last time in March last year, we wanted to go to loads of Scottish islands, and we did, and it was fabulous. We set off and we went to the Uist and Lewis and the Western Isles, and we went to Orkney, we went to Shetland, and it was brilliant. And then we broke down at the very top of Shetland, in Hermanus. You say?
In 100 minutes, and we had to go all the way back down to Shropshire.
Yeah, most northerly
with, like,
breakdown.
3 ferries. So one onto Yell, one onto Shetland, then from I can't remember. Is it
Lerwick.
Lerwick to Aberdeen, and then get a car and drive all the way down to Shropshire.
To get the van fixed.
Yeah, but then the van was up there for like a couple of weeks, so we were just like, excuse me, can you pay for like a B&B room or a pub room so you can just stay there?
The insurance paid in the
Yeah,
end.
we got 4 nights or something like that. And it was like,
That was quite nice.
And then if it was 2 weeks, what did you do the other
We
week?
stayed in a tent.
Oh,
We
yeah.
got our tent out. Yeah, so the tent and all the camping stuff is in the back of the car, which is in Shropshire. So if this has to go in the garage, then we go and get our car. And
So there's
go
always a
and
way.
tent.
There's always a way.
Yeah.
Something else.
Yeah, we don't need to.
Don't worry, there's always a way.
I like to worry.
You like to worry.
If we had enough money, with some left over, we must end up going back up to Shetland and finishing it, because it felt like we didn't properly complete it, didn't
We were only there for a week.
Like
It was
yourselves,
£500 on the ferries, and we thought we'll go right to the top first, and
Just
then
in
work our way
case.
down. Got right to the top, broke down, and then we just recovered back. I wanted to see that, and I wanted to see that, and I wanted to go to that museum. So we need to go back again and do that. The mechanic who came to us, it wasn't the RSC, it's like a local garage, and he said, no, we won't touch it. You can take it to.
This is where
local
one big
garage.
we were talking about this. We will give one bit of advice to people is when you get a decent recovery service, and don't just pay for breakdown, pay for recovery, because the insurance company we had provided the breakdown and recovery people, the breakdown people, but they were not very efficient. So we went with the RAC afterwards, and we found them to be absolutely brilliant. I'm not just advertising the RAC, it could be AA, it could be Green Flag, but don't just rely on your insurance company providing you with a breakdown company, because the guy said they just recover them, they don't try to fix them. And that ended up costing us quite a bit of money. And if the RAC guy come out, he would have said, there's your problem, because the first RAC guy said, there's your problem, it's the starter motor. We would have had the starter motor fixed, and we would have had it done up there. And it was really frustrating.
It was.
So you would have saved money had you paid for the RAC in the first
Yes.
place? You would have
Yes,
saved.
so I would
We would have
recommend
done,
it.
yes,
This is one of the top bits of advice to guys who are travelling and living in a van, is get a decent company, but doesn't just do breakdown, does recovery. Then you can go to the garage that you choose. Otherwise, they'll be charging you a fortune to get to wherever you want to get to. And you're also at the mercy of the local garage, who will charge you a fortune as well.
But that's from having an older van. It's 2006, this one, so it's quite old, very high mileage. I think everything's gone wrong that can go.
And
It's had new everything.
Yeah, for a long time now, it's been running smoothly, it's been running cool. So I would quite happily take it anywhere now.
Well, we go to the loo in our little porta potty, which is in the corner. And in Scotland there are, because we've mainly been in Scotland, there are lots of public toilets. So we just empty it. We don't use that blue stuff. We either use vinegar or the green organic porta potty stuff. And then we can just empty it anywhere. Or you can dig a hole and empty it there. And showering, well, we use a lot of baby wipes.
But
Here you obviously have a shower, right?
We have a
You can
shower
use
here,
all.
yeah. That's
one of the
absolutely fine,
advantages of Scotland is because we did a lot of ferry travelling to the islands. A lot of the ports, the ferry ports have showers.
Yeah. So
So we've used them quite
Yes, we
often,
have. We've gone,
both
yeah.
on the island and on the mainland. So you go there, you use the shower.
Also in Ullapool though, it wasn't at the ferry port. There was just
But it was a public shower.
there was just a public shower in the middle of a town. It was like that's quite handy.
we just wild camp when we go. We don't usually go on campsites. Most of the time we wild camp, and then once a week, maybe
even
10
once a
days,
fortnight,
we
yeah.
might go on just to charge everything up because the radio batteries will be flat. So we plug everything in, do the washing.
So you find a
Good.
campsite that's got a laundry, that's got showers, that's got everything that you might need, and you go on, you use that one night, and you do everything that you need to do.
So
Blitz
nice,
it, do
you can
everything you
actually
need to
watch
do.
film.
And you can watch a film, yeah, and your DVD player is charged up.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we charge things on the when we're driving, on
Yeah.
the USB sort of stuff? But
Yeah.
it doesn't. You have to be keeping driving for one thing, and then things don't last. The charges don't last. But normally we survive on child tax credits, which is about £250 a month, and we do woofing and workawaying, where we get fed, so we have no outgoings at all, and that keeps us going. If we do that 2 or 3 weeks out of a month, and then we have a month free, we meet lots of new people, and it doesn't cost us much money. So it's just a mixture. At the moment, working on a campsite to get some money together for the next adventure. Not just we're going to New Zealand. It's not just that. It's for the next few months. In November last year, we thought we need a job next year, this summer, and we found a job. It's just cleaning shower blocks on this campsite, and it's 19 hours each a week, and we get $8.25 an hour, so it's just above minimum wage. And we worked it out, and it worked out about £300 a week. And we thought we'd be able to save most of that, which we do, because now we're working, we get working tax credits, so that gives us an extra £50 a week. So we don't have to use any of the money we earn to live. We have enough money. We just buy food. We spend between £50 and £80 a week on food, and diesel. We've hardly used any diesel because we go to Henley-on-Thames, which is 5 miles away. So we just get the local supermarket once a week. So it's hardly any diesel either.
And you mix that in with other things we want to do. So, for example, we have to do a bit of going to town and have a look around and buy certain things, or Florence goes to a club. It's all done on the same day, so it's just one trip. So it's trying to use as minimum fuel as possible, isn't it?
Yeah. So it works really well. You don't pay. You don't pay to stay. You get a free pitch. You get free electricity, and you get paid. What's not to like? What's not to like is if you're cleaning toilets. That's not quite so good.
There's other jobs that you
but the
can get
wardens
like that.
here, the wardens here
Fantastic.
do two 12-hour shifts. They have the same amount of money, but same per hour. But they 2 days on, 4 days off, which is brilliant.
You can do wardening, you can do
Yeah.
groundworks,
Yeah,
all kinds
all
of things.
sorts.
Yeah.
And there's so many jobs. Even now, in April, May, there are still people wanting staff for the summer. There's so many campsites, and even with no experience, and even with children, it's. I think it's quite easy.
One way to look at it is to wait until the season started, because the campsites are desperate for people.
They are now.
They are desperate for people. They'll put them on urgently required in big capital letters because they want people now. Or the people, they might have taken on somebody who's decided not to take the job or gone to another campsite, and they're desperate for people. So you don't have to. You can wait until the last minute. You can wait until the last minute.
And what made you choose? Did you choose the toilet cleaning job?
We
or was
did.
that- yeah.
Yeah, we had a bit of a moment, I think. Well, because we've been running a campsite, we're managing it completely, and the responsibility. If the boiler breaks down, people tell us, and we have to sort it out. And we thought we can't do that. We were burnt out, and they thought we could cope with cleaning. We'll just do that. We just go and do our job. We start at 5 a.m. We don't really see anybody much. We can do our job and come away again. And it was just the lack of responsibility was what made us choose this.
I think also one of the things was the fact that it was 4 days on, 3 days off, so you actually got 3 days, because a lot of campsites, they just ask you to work an hour or two, but in the middle of the day when they shut down the toilet blocks, and you might work 6 days a week, this one is like, wow, you get 3 days off. Because when before we were working for a year and a half, 2 years, and we didn't have any days off.
No days off.
So wow, 3 days off, this is great. And we sat down, we did the maths, we can save the money for New Zealand, and we get time off as well. This is great.
And the how it works for us is that Florence doesn't wake up while we do our first shift, 2.5 hours. She's still asleep. And so then we have breakfast together, don't we? And then potter about, do things. And then when we go back to work after lunch, then she'll maybe go out on your bike, watch a film, have my phone. I don't know if we work every year on a campsite because you can't do things in the summer. You miss all the festivals or anything else really because you're working at weekends. So there's lots of things we can't do. If we weren't saving to go to New Zealand, I would be doing yoga classes, Colin would go and find some Aikido, Florence could do more home ed things. But because we're actually saving, we choose not to do most of those things. But we wouldn't have been able to go to New Zealand if we weren't doing this. We saved up the fares working on a campsite before, and now we're saving up the spending money. When we were in a house, there was no spare money.
Yeah.
You were...
And time, I guess, right? You wouldn't be able to go for 6 weeks.
No, that's it. No, most of the rest of the family can only go for 2 weeks, and that's their holiday.
The practicalities are fine. He doesn't run off. He's happy with going to new places, all kinds of things.
He's very attached to us, I think, is the thing. Some cats aren't, are they? But we had him from a very little kitten, and he just sits on your lap when you're driving along.
His main problem is other people, isn't it? When you get caravans on this site, then you can see the most stress. But like now at the moment, there's hardly anybody here. So he just goes off to the woods and the cover of the trees
Like
and everything.
now.
It's fine.
I miss a bath. Oh,
Life.
I really miss a bath. Oh, it's so lovely.
Life.
And space. I think having a separate bedroom and to be able to, just to be
able to live.
To be away from my daughter sometimes. No, I'd never.
I used to do Aikido, and I think it's the only thing I miss is the Aikido. Nothing else. Nothing else.
My dancing. I used to go dancing for hours every Saturday, and that was like what I did. That was my main thing. And Rushbury, which was a homemade group that I used to go to, where all my friends were. And Taekwondo.
So do you feel, obviously it's hard to say that at 12, but do you feel that eventually, when you're older, you might be grateful for this life because you've had all these experiences, whereas now you might be a little bit like, oh, I miss my friends.
Yeah,
Eventually.
I think I will be great.
Yeah, you already know that now,
Yeah,
right?
that I'll have a different upbringing than some people.
Most people.
Most people.
Very cool upbringing.
It's definitely a fun way to start life. People have bedrooms and bedrooms in houses. Grown-ups in one bedroom, kids in the other. Instead,
I can just go,
woo!
And you like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun. Apart from when Dad falls asleep before me and grinds his teeth and snores. If they're annoying me, just drop a pillow like,
so that's deliberate, is it?
wait.
The secret is out. I think the thing I love the most, is that you're so close to nature. So when it's cold, you'll have ice on the inside of your window. And when you know what it's like outside. It's just lovely. You're not in a centrally heated cocoon. You just step out of here and there's a hawthorn hedge.
Or you're up in Scotland and you're on an island and it's just a wild beach and you've got a campfire going and playing the musical instrument and you're just watching us just sitting around and just experiencing it and just watching the sun go down. Again, it goes to that, you don't need money to do that. It's the experience again.
I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave us a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to see more interviews with other van life families. You can follow Michelle and her family's journey on Instagram under Off for a Pootle, as you can see on the screen, and I'll also leave a link down below in the description box. Please feel free to comment below this video if you have any questions, and as always, thank you so much for watching. And if you'd like to find and connect with more van life families all over the world, then find us on Instagram under Vanlife Families, and remember to subscribe and click the little bell to be notified of our future videos with more van life families.